Breakfast Club, letting us know that everybody's lying. TMZ is lying. Everybody's lying. And your dad never, ever, ever did those horrible things with the toilet wine. Too bad for you. I know you don't read and listen to. I know Christian Combs probably don't read and listens to everything his daddy tells him. Unfortunately, the rest of us do read. The rest of us do know how the borough prisons go. And the rest of us do know, baby, this has to be all cap because nothing is making sense in their story. And we're going to get into this, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome to a special Tuesday morning live. Baby, I don't know if Diddy's ever getting out of MDC. I don't know if he's going to make it through that program, because he has been caught breaking the rules again. And we're not talking about the toilet wine. He has been caught making unauthorized calls, probably to tell Christian to go in the Breakfast Club with a denial. Now, listen, we're going to get into the calls because that in itself is hilarious. I promise you, you don't know these details. But can we also talk about these rumors? Hey, good morning, Crystal D. Can we also talk about these rumors that Diddy, in fact, was not drinking? And I say they're rumors because follow the bouncing ball. There is a reason that Diddy's family is coming out with these denials and not Diddy's legal team. And baby, he got a big legal team. 20 million reasons for us to believe he has a legal team. There's a reason why Diddy's family is coming out and saying this and not the lawyers. There's a reason, and they're saying there's something going on, and there is an active investigation at the BOP. Y'all, let's get into all of that. The Borough of Prisons is what we call Diddy's, the home of of Lord Pervert, Diddy. Where do we start at? All right, let's start with Christian with the Breakfast Club lashing out and letting us know, boy, if you don't did Christian go to college? I know Justin did. Justin needs to see if he can homeschool Christian because Christian needs to go to school. Morning, Dopey. Morning, watching the world. Hey, what's up, Mel? Watching the World 777, Morning Impress 444, iHeart, Iorder, and Undercover News Networks. Listen, let's get into this. Okay, where do you want to start? First, let's start with the Breakfast Club interview. Or do you want to start where Diddy caught breaking the rules again? And we're not talking about the toilet wine. All right, let's get into this. Let's actually start with the second breaking the rules, because I swear to God, I really don't know how he's going to make it till the end of his. So I don't know how he's going to make it on parole. Diddy has not even been in jail for 7 business days. He has not been in Fort Dix for 7 business days. He has allegedly broken the rules 2, maybe 3 times. 1, the alleged toilet wine incident. Diddy's family completely denies it. Diddy's lawyers have not. There's a reason for that. 2, the calls. Remember the same mess that he was doing in the MDC where he would not pay attention to the rules? Well, guess what, y'all? Guess what? Diddy is also doing that in Fort Dix. This man don't got any shame, and then got the nerve to say he's working next to the chaplain because he wants us to know that he's not on prison duty with the clothes. This man's ego is going to be the end of him. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody says. All right, let's get into the first thing. Let's get into the one I find the funniest thing, right? What's up, Monique? Grand Rising. What's going on? Also, what's up, Nola? Sunflower. And also Maya Tex Uru. Cookies in the jar. Diddy got his hands in the cookie jar. All right. First, let's start. And this is directly from his spokesperson. And I don't know. Not as lawyers, but as spokesperson. Okay. Diddy's team says that he has denied the prison story. 1 second. Let me find this. Oh, here we go. This is an exclusive. Okay, now I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Can y'all hear me now? I think y'all can hear me now. Hello? Okay, wait. I'm still frozen? No, I'm not. Hold on. Okay, now I'm good. I'm pretty sure y'all can hear me, right? Okay. Let's see. Put a 1. Okay, y'all can hear me. Okay, I'm back. Okay, they was trying to shut me down. They've been doing voodoo on me. I swear to God. Pray, y'all. Pray for the unborn children. Anyway, let's get into this. All right. I'm back. I'll cut this out. If you're watching live right now, and I'll cut out the old part. All right, let's go. Right. This is an exclusive from CBS News. They said Sean Diddy Combs' life in prison includes a job in the chapel, drug treatment, and discipline over a banned phone call. So, one, and they take this very seriously in prison. One, they are watching you like a hawk. You know they're watching like a hawk. We already know about the toilet wine. We're going to get into that and Christian's denial and the way he is just a clown. But also, let's look at this banned phone call that Diddy did. They said he's been spending his early prison days working in a chapel enrolled in an intensive drug treatment program, according to prison documents exclusively obtained by CBS News. He's also found himself facing disciplinary action. He hasn't even been there for 7 business days. For an unauthorized phone call just days after being transferred to the federal prison in New Jersey, with the looming possibility of temporarily losing his phone and commissary privileges as a result. You guys, Diddy is going to lose his phone and his commissary privileges, all because of days after being transferred. This man touted the law. He broke everything. He did the stuff he wasn't supposed to do. All right. Now, hold on really quick. Let me just see if I can put this up on the screen for you guys. I want to put the, hold on really quick. One second. I'm going to put this up on the screen if I can. One second. Can I put this on the screen? Let's see. Let's see. Can I put this on the screen? Or no? No? Okay. Forget about putting the screen. Let's just get on with this. This is getting a lot, right? All right. So anyway, let's get this into this, right? So anyway, he's temporarily losing his phone and commissary privileges as a result. All right. So that's how it is. Now, Diddy wants us to know that he's working as a chaplain's assistant, which is considered one of the more desirable assignments at Fort Dix Prison. So he wants us to know that he is actually locked in, and he wants us to know that he has a big, cushy job. All right, Diddy, nobody really cares, but sure, whatever you say, right? Now, on top of him wanting to know that he has a cushy job, a former prison commissioner told CBS News the tasks vary, but typically he maintains the chaplain's religious library, clean their office, and help with some record keeping. Again, how did Diddy get such a cushy job? TMZ reported he was originally put on prison. Maybe he traded assignments with someone. Maybe they made a big donation to the chaplain. I don't know. But Diddy is now working in the chaplain's office, right? They said what makes the assignment, and this is coming straight from Diddy's publicist, not his lawyer. Again, his ego is going to be the worst to him. His publicist, Judah Engelmeyer, said he works in the chapel library, where he describes the environment as warm, respectful, and rewarding. What makes the assignment especially desirable is that it has prestige within the prison, the former commissioner says. It allows the inmate to work in a private office, often with air conditioning. Chaplains frequently bring in food for religious services, which can be shared with the assistant. Diddy is in jail. He is supposed to be rehabilitating. Even if he's not, he's supposed to act like he's sorry and he is being whatever. Diddy's ego is so big, so grandiose, but also so stupid, and there's nobody checking him. That instead of just being like, listen, who cares how you got the chaplain job? I believe TMZ is reporting about him first being assigned to laundry and somehow him getting into cushy. Probably, money do everything. Instead of just being like, yo, it's actually better that people think I'm suffering in there, because if they think I'm suffering, one, people might start believing my redemption arc. If they believe I'm suffering, this will be a reason for Trump to pardon me. If they believe I'm suffering, then it'll be easier to play the swing low, swing. It'll be easier to play the victim. But what does that require? Forward thinking, a strategic mind. We know Diddy has both. But what else does it require? Okay. It requires one to also put their ego to the side. But Diddy's ego so big, he still needs people to think that he is privileged, that he is running stuff, and that he is running things in jail. This is a bad look. His assistant says he works in a chapel library where he describes the environment as warm, respectful, and rewarding. Okay. What makes the assignment especially desirable, because you want us to know that he's not washing drawers. He got a good job. He got one of the most desirable positions in jail, even though that's an oxymoron, desirable and jail. But okay, fine, whatever, right? He also wants us to know, again, just to roll it back, he also wants us to know that it allows the inmate to work in a private office. So he's working in an office by himself with air conditioning, and the chaplain is bringing in food for religious services that he is sharing with his assistant. I want to know the chaplain that agreed. Okay, we had to switch to a different microphone system because this microphone system is tripping. All right. So hold on really quick. We had to switch to a different microphone. It's okay, everybody. It's okay. All right. So the microphone was like flipping out and tripping and doing whatever. So what are you going to do? Anyway, the whole point of this matter is Diddy don't know how to be humble. Diddy don't know how to not be a dum dum. And Diddy is literally going to be his very, very, very worst enemy. Mark my words. Diddy will be his own worst enemy time and time and time again. All right. You getting food? All right. They said a corrections officer who worked in federal prison says that the chapel is one of the only places where inmates can congregate freely. So is he setting up his criminal organization in the chapel? I'm confused, right? They also said that chaplains can also allow their assistants to prepare a call-out list, which tells officers which inmates are allowed to leave their cell to go to programs or medical appointments. Assistants could add their connections or friends to that list. Diddy, who's said to be raised Catholic, has spoken. Okay, who cares about that? Now, all right, so we know Diddy's bragging. He wants us to know that he is in a position of power in jail. I think it's a dumb move. His lawyers haven't said anything or co-signed it. We don't really know what's going on, but it's a dumb move. But get this, right? They said there's an unauthorized team call. They said within a few days of his arrival in prison, Diddy found himself in trouble. He made a three-way call on November 3rd in violation of prison rules. This man made a three-way call in violation, again, in violation of prison rules. Okay. Um, he told officials it was a conversation with his legal team about issuing a statement to the New York Times. However, the borough prison prohibits inmates from adding multiple people to a call, and inmates can only speak to people on prison phones from previously approved call lists under the security rules. According to the docs, he called an unnamed woman. About halfway through their call, Diddy said he needed to talk with someone described as the digital person regarding blogs. The woman asked Diddy if she should add the person to the call, and he said yes. Diddy then spoke briefly with the woman about arranging visitors for the weekend and suggested they bring cash, $200 in singles. There is no indication as to how he intended to use the money. Prison regulations bar visitors from bringing in currency other than coins for vending machines. After they finished speaking about visitation, the woman added an unknown male to the phone call, also circumventing prison rules. Diddy later explained that he was speaking with his attorney, and added the head of the legal communications to work on a statement for his approval to be sent to the Times. He said they were not talking about the blogs. It was not made clear why Diddy was putting together a statement for the news organization. They said multi-person calls. They said multi-person calls are banned in prisons because of concerns with inmates could use them to coordinate criminal activity, such as drug smuggling, gang violence, or witness intimidation. However, such calls can also be used for more innocent purposes, such as talking to loved ones at 2 times. Listen, at the end of the day, according to prison documents, Diddy said no one had informed him about the regulations on phone calls, and he never received a prison admissions handbook or orientation handbook. Prisons officials recommended Diddy lose 90 days of phone privileges and 90 days of commissary privileges for the infraction. Their ruling was filed on November 4th, Diddy's 56th birthday. It's unclear if the recommended penalty had been implemented. They said this is a serious offense that shows a disregard for the rules. It was a procedural call initiated by one of his attorneys and was protected under attorney-client privilege. They said there was nothing improper. Mark Agnifilio did not respond. You guys, Diddy got into jail. Wasn't even there for a few days. On November 3rd, he made an illegal phone call. In that illegal phone call, he asked him to bring a bag full of cash. What is going on with my thing? He asked him to bring, I can't with this. I can't. Sorry, guys. He asked them to bring a bag full of cash, a bag full of cash in order so that he could bribe a few people. You cannot make this up. Diddy is literally on strike 2. Diddy is literally on strike 2. All right? He is on strike 2 at this point. And he doesn't seem to care. It is really astonishing to me. It is literally very, very astonishing to me that he is even letting this. Happen. It's astonishing to me. It's astonishing to me that he's allowing this to happen, but he is allowing this to happen. Diddy is officially on strike 2, you guys. He's officially on strike 2. Again, there's a bunch of other stuff happening too. Let's get into that. Listen, Diddy is on strike 2. Listen. Let me chit chat. One second. Yeah, Diddy is on strike 2. Illegal calls asking for bags of cash to pay, the bags of cash to be bought to prison. You guys, Diddy is a whole mess. And it's weird to me that all this is getting off. Christian Combs, oh, let's get into the Christian Combs thing really, really quick, because I do want to actually touch on that. Hold on, y'all. YouTube is acting up today. I don't know what's going on, but YouTube is acting up. But let's see if we can get through this. Are we here? YouTube, can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me? Hit the button if y'all can see me and hear me. I think you should be able to. YouTube is acting up. Anyway, let's get into what Christian Combs actually had to say. All right. He spoke to the Breakfast Club. Listen to this. One second. Christian Combs spoke to the Breakfast Club about what was going on with his dad. So they're trying to say he didn't drink toilet wine, but he broke the rules, and it looks like he's actually been sanctioned. But let's listen to what Justin. Oh, sorry, not Christian. Justin Combs called the Breakfast, had the stuff to say. Justin, he went to college. Listen to this. Hold on.
Yesterday, we were able to speak to Justin Combs, who is the son of Diddy, Sean Combs, and we have some things to clear up. So first of all, we talked about that alcohol story, right? And I had already told you guys that Diddy's rep said that was not true whatsoever. But yesterday I found out, of course, they, tripled down on the fact that story was a lie, they allege. But they say, to back this up, that Diddy is in a program currently where they check him, like checking with him every day. Like they're testing him every day for substance abuse. So there's no way that he could have been under any influence whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yes.
They said he's in the RDAP drug program. And they said if he was found with any liquor or anything around that, he would not be able to be in that program. So that tells you that he is being monitored and that he is in the RDAP program, drug program. He also said he's very focused and committed to coming home and being a changed person. So he wouldn't play with that because he is... he wants to see his daughters. He wants to see his sons. He wants to see his family. So he is not playing.
I just turned to the ladies with envy.
Because, I got to utilize my resources. I'll be calling you too.
Oh, okay.
All right.
You're supposed to give her the information, Envy. You're not supposed to report it.
I don't mind, okay?
I spoke to him
yes.
for a long period.
Thank you.
Spoke to Diddy?
No. Justin.
Oh. Yes. And then so there was a photo yesterday that was released. It was Diddy's intake photo when he got to Fort Dix. And the conversation...
That just sound crazy, right? That's just change the name of that jail, damn it.
Okay.
So hard.
Okay, let me just say this, right? This is why I always go in on the Breakfast Club, because they just be saying shit and they never fact check it. And I get it. They all bloggers, just like I'm a blogger. They're clearly friends with Justin and they want to get Justin's side out. But Justin must think that we are all as stupid as him. Again, I apologize to Christian. I thought he was being stupid. Listen to what his daddy told him. Apparently, Justin, but he ain't graduated college. Not that that matters, right? Is sitting up here trying to tell us some okie doke. So let's actually get into the okie doke of what's sitting here. Because here's the one thing I want to say. There is a reason why Diddy's lawyers are not coming out and saying something definitively. But your family and your spokespeople are coming out saying something. Now, they said that Diddy's committed. He hasn't broken any rules. CBS obtained the prison files. You were caught with an unauthorized phone call, and they are going to sanction you for your commissary for 90 days and also your phone privileges. Diddy tried to say, I didn't know, but at MDC, you got in trouble for the same thing, making illegal phone calls, all right? They are saying there's an investigation going on. And here's what's going on. Because I talked to a bunch of lawyers and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense what Justin's saying versus what TMZ is saying. So they gave me a counter narrative and they think this is what's going on. All right. First of all, this whole lie about Diddy being tested every day in the RDAP, that's the Rehabilitation Disposition something program. They're saying that is 100% a lie. Nobody gets tested every day on that program. Second of all, they're saying that Diddy just got there. So how could he be tested on this? Listen to this, right? They said the RDAP is a voluntary intensive residential substance abuse treatment program in federal prison. All right. Now, they said that it's not automatic. You have to enroll. And I said, okay, well, Diddy's a celebrity. And they said, it doesn't matter. Well, you haven't even been there for a week. Just listen to this. How long does it take to get enrolled? Listen, they said, listen, the sooner your attorney initiates the process, the better your chances of being considered. Now, he has been accepted, all right? But keep in mind, The RDAP was not available in the MDC. It was only available once he went to Fort Dix and he was booked. Hasn't even been 7 business days. All right. Now there is a waiting list for that. And they might have been able to get him off that waiting list, clearly. But here's what they're saying. I said, so can you, is there immediate enrollment, like when you get to the jail, even though you're being considered? And they said, nah, not really. Because realistically, you must be sentenced and designated to a Bureau of Prisons facility, okay, to participate fully. He just got to Fort Dix. You must meet the eligibility criteria. Okay, he met that. The enrollment start date depends on availability and when your release date is close enough to grant you priority. Now, he did make that thing, but they said the actual how long until you start varies. You can apply almost immediately after being in a proper facility, but you might still wait for the program cohort to open or until you release that. So he would have had to wait till he was transferred to officially apply. Now, here's the thing. They said the RDAP overview. Yes, alcohol does count, right? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. The part about RDAP testing every single day, they said Tisa B for real. This part of his claim is not accurate at all. RDAP participants are not tested every day. Federal inmates, whether they're on the RDAP program or not, are subject to random streaming stuff. Okay, we back. Let's get through this. They said federal inmates, whether in RDAP or not, are subject to random urinalysis testing for drugs and sometimes alcohol, not daily testing. Testing might happen a few times a month, or this is important, we'll come back to this, when there's suspicion of use. So saying, they test them every day isn't factual. It's more likely a defensive or exaggerated statement meant to deny the accusation. That detail that Justin talked to Envy for a while, and again, I get it. Envy was talking to his friend. Envy was involved in his own federal case, right? I get it. You're sticking up for your friend, but stop acting like this is just true, or actually do what you want. Because at the end of the day, I guess it's up to us to fact check, and that's what I did. I hope when I tell y'all something, you fact check me, right? They said it's very doubtful. That detail doesn't check out factually, and this is why the PR person told us, not the lawyers. We'll get into that in a second. Get this. Now, the timeline. Could he really be, even if he's tested in the RDAP program and he's only been at Fort Dix for, at this point, 5 business days? They said if he just arrived at Fort Dix, it's highly unlikely he's actually in the full RDAP program yet. Another lie. Here's why. RDAP participation requires screening, clinical interviews, and placement in a specific housing unit. That's the RDAP unit. The process can take weeks to months after arrival at a new facility. Someone at Fort Dix for only 1 week might be in the intake part or the orientation part, not an active RDAP participant. So it's very doubtly he's been fully enrolled or he's even subject to RDAP specific testing yet. So the RDAP program that they're like, he gets tested every day, that's a lie. You couldn't have been tested every day. You couldn't have been tested every day because they don't test anybody every day. And second of all, you just got there. You have to go through orientation. You have to take the pledge. You have to take a bunch of clinical tests. There's a lot of stuff that happens. You're enrolled, but until you fully start on the program where they test you periodically and you have to do all these programs, reading, group counseling, you haven't even started yet. It's impossible at this point to start it yet. Now, get this. Da-da. So the credible claim overall, right? They're like, Tisa, let's just break it down for you. He hasn't been there long enough to be in the full RDAP program. The RDAP doesn't test daily. He could not be under constant monitoring yet. That's not the way the program works. And the family and spokesperson statements often come from limited or secondhand information. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Because they want to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like, I don't think Justin will be stupid enough to lie. And they're usually designed to counter negative press. Now, his lawyers, on the other hand, staying silent fits with standard legal strategy. They won't publicly confirm or deny a disciplinary issue while it's under review. And I said, wait. You think it's under review, right? They said, yes, they think it's under review because here's how often they test. Routine random tests, every inmate in the BOP custody can be called for a random urinalysis at any time, regardless of RDAP status. Now, if there's for cause testing, if there's suspicion, like Diddy was acting intoxicated, contraband found, or reports of drinking, staff can test immediately for both drugs and alcohol. But they said this lies in the devil of the details why there might be an investigation going on. Because here's the thing, the testing has to follow prison protocol, okay? If you have suspicion of drinking and there's no breathalyzer around, which they said probably isn't a breathalyzer, or he could have even refused the breathalyzer, the only thing they can do is test for urine. If you refuse to test for urine, they treat refusal of testing for urine as forget it, you're guilty. They treat it as a positive because you're not really allowed to deny the testing, but you have the right. They're just going to treat it as like, okay, so you were drinking. So follow me on this. They said it has to be protocol. They said the collection and the testing is done during normal business hours, typically 9 to 5. They do not have somebody at 2 a.m. waiting to take a urine sample. They just don't. They follow protocol because they are trying to still protect people's constitutional rights. They said Diddy does not get tested every day. That's a lie. But let's just say, and let's use our brains, that Diddy got tested for his intake into the RDAP program because they test you once to get your baseline to see if you're even clean for admission, right? They test you once for baseline. And once they test you, they don't test you again except for it's random or with cause. But they said, let's just say Diddy, for whatever reason, got tested that morning. So you get tested that morning. Let's just say, at 8 p.m. at night, Diddy is in his thing talking about something, ain't my fault that I'm out here getting loose, darling, blame it on that, doing that. I like that, daddy. I like that. Diddy, right? At 8 p.m. Let's just say they had suspicions. One of the inmates ratted him out. Was like, yo, he drinking in there because they don't like the way his face looked. He do got a punchable face, right? At 8 o'clock at night, they could go in there. They can conduct an investigation like, yo, what's going on? Are you drinking? Are you drinking? Are you drinking? If they didn't have the breathalyzer, or he said, I'm not taking a breathalyzer. My lawyers didn't tell me about this. Why did I take the breathalyzer? What they would do is they would confiscate whatever. And then the next morning, when the Bureau of Prisons when the Bureau of Prisons testing unit actually opened somewhere around 9 or 10, they would take him in to get a urinalysis. And if they found alcohol in his system, they would start conducting an investigation. Now, the alcohol in the system is pretty much a positive, but they would start conducting investigation. Now, ask yourself this. Anybody remember the whole, don't drink and drive segment of class? Yeah. What's the one thing that everybody's forgetting? Because they said this is the most likely thing. If you got caught drinking at 8 o'clock at night and they couldn't test your urine until maybe 10, 11, 12, because, they're not lining up. There's other people that got to be tested, so they squeeze you in. That means that Diddy had more than enough time for the alcohol to leave his system. So even though when they tested him, the urine showed you're clean, because unless he was passed out drunk, a wine spritzer or even moonshine, I think like an ounce goes out of your system like every hour, right? So 2 ounces, 2 hours, even if he had like 2 or 3 drinks, by the time 12 hours rolled around, it should have all been out of his system, especially if he was drinking a lot of water and urinating a lot. So they're like this. Probably why the lawyers are being so quiet is they think there's an investigation going on. They think that somebody snitched on Diddy. They think that they grabbed Diddy up. They grabbed Diddy. They think that after they grabbed Diddy, they saw the Fanta in the toilet. They saw a few other inmates. They saw this and that. They didn't have the breathalyzer, so they took him for a urinalysis the next day. The urinalysis most likely came back negative. However, that doesn't stop the investigation because they can get you for violating prison rules, even if they don't have that. They don't have that urinalysis. What is it? It's an investigation. They talk to everybody. Who was drinking? Were you drinking? Were you drinking? Was he drinking? So y'all all saw him drinking? Who handed him the drink? Where's the drink? Right here? Okay, let's go. All right. Now keep in mind, this probably is a reason also I think Diddy was probably able to bribe his way into the chaplain's office, in my opinion. Because just think about it. Diddy always wants a position of power where he can control people, where he can put people and give them favors. Diddy's a smart man. He's a psychopath, in my opinion, but he's a smart psychopath. He literally bartered, begged, stole, did whatever he needed to do, or bought his way into that office in the chaplain's office where he can eat whatever he wants, right? Because food is very important to this man, and where he can also dole out favors to other prisoners by putting them on the chaplain's list so they get special favors. How is it that the Bureau of Prisons put this man in this super coveted, desirable position, super coveted and desirable position within 3 days of him being in jail, in which he now is in a position to have power to rule it over all the other inmates? He literally is creating the same power structure they created outside. And I really do side-eye the Bureau of Prisons that they even let that happen. But at the end of the day, whoever Diddy has on payroll and favors and grease hands, there's a lot of other people watching him. Those are the people that found out about his illegal phone call, and there was a disciplinary action, okay? Now, again, if there's calls for testing the suspicion, that they can test immediately for both drugs and alcohol, but the immediate part only happens if the office is open. If it's not open, then you have to wait until the next morning for it to open. Alcohol is not like drugs, okay? And it is true that RDAP participants may be tested more often because sobriety is a condition of the program, but nobody is tested daily. It is either random or it's periodic. Daily is a violation of their civil rights, right? Again, let's put this back into context. He's only been at Fort Dix for a week. He's unlikely to even be in the full RDAP program yet, so he doesn't even need to be tested. Testing is random, not daily. And the Bureau of Prison can test for alcohol regardless of his documented substance abuse, all right? Now, here's the one thing I said. All right, so then what's tea? Because I find it very, very odd that this stuff is coming through Diddy's. I find it very, very odd that all this is coming through Diddy's lawyers. I'm sorry, not his lawyers, but this new Judah, this new family spokesperson. I do believe the family spokesperson is being bought out to spin a counter narrative to cover up stuff. So listen to this. And I was like, why aren't his lawyers, who usually speak from all the time, touching this? And they said, all right, Tisa, now we talking, all right? When someone is under federal custody or investigation, this isn't just Diddy, this is anyone, or even post-sentencing, lawyers control public communication for very specific reasons. One, they're bound by ethic rules and can't knowingly lie to the press, or else they be disbarred. They understand the legal stakes, what could trigger disciplinary action, further charges, or even volatile conditions. And their number one thing is to protect their client after protecting their bar license, is to protect the client's credibility by avoiding inconsistent or even overly emotional statements, right? So if all prior public updates came through his attorneys, that means those were legally vetted, factual, and part of coordinated strategy. Think about it. All the other dumb stories we've heard about Diddy, Carlucci. Oh, I heard he had a knife pressed to his throat. When did that happen? Because it wasn't in any of the court documents. It wasn't in any Brian Still's documents. It wasn't in any Xavier Downsell's documents. It wasn't in Nicole Westmoreland's document. It wasn't in Mark Agnafilio's documents. And it's not even in Alexander Shapiro's documents. It's not in his Bureau of Prison file. But you know what was? That first one he said, where he got into argument, and the guy that was his teaching assistant in the Diddy Got Game program. And now I see what his role was in that Diddy Got Game program. Again, because you need to get into a mind of a psychopath. That was nothing but a thinly veiled attempt to get power. Because in that Diddy Got Free Game program, it put him in a position of authority. And we all know there are a bunch of people that feel powerless in their own lives, so they scurry for favors. They scurry to be next to power. This is how Diddy got away with everything for so long. Again, I think the Bureau of Prison was very, very wrong to give him a position of power with the chaplain. And again, they want to brag so much about how this is a desirable. He running-ish. How did he get this with him being 3 days? Nobody else wanted that desirable position. How did he get in there? Because according to TMZ, he was first assigned to the barracks washing laundry. And let's also not forget that Diddy on the phone call told people, a woman, to bring a paper bag full of money to the prison next time they saw him. Because now ask yourself this, if he's bringing a paper bag full of money, and he's talking to his lawyers, he told his lawyers to bring a bag of cash. I guess. But let's continue. So I was like, yo, so then why are all these family spokespeople and family members coming? You notice that they're talking to LA Mag and People Magazine and DJ Envy, right? You notice they're talking to DJ Envy, but they're not going on record in legal filings. They're not going on record. The lawyers aren't saying anything. And I'm like, okay, so why is this all off the record? I mean, y'all know it, but I just thought the explanation was the key. They're like, Tisa, be for real. When narrative shifts, the family says, close friends claim, a source familiar with the situation, or even a PR person, it usually means one of a few things. One, the lawyers won't or can't confirm the claim. If this claim, right, in any way, right, involves a potential disciplinary issue, rule violation, or something under internal investigation, the lawyers will stay completely silent. Any comment will backfire legally or contradict it. Or these lawyers just don't want to be responsible for verifying it. If they suspect it's not entirely true or have reason to know it's not entirely true, they won't put their name on it. Family or PR people can say things more freely because they aren't bound by the same truth or ethics standards. Remember that next time somebody's like, oh, all these bloggers out here saying this and that. Ain't that what DJ Envy is? Is that not what the Breakfast Club is? Is that not what Diddy's PR person is? A spin machine? Is that not what Justin, Christian, and the rest of that family is? They are nothing. Actually, it's actually worse, because you can talk about bloggers. Did we get, sorry, we struggling. You can talk about bloggers do everything for a click and a view. But at the end of the day, y'all saying everything you got to do to get, in my opinion, the demon Satan incarnate out on the street so you can keep buying that Versace. So you don't fall behind on your Benz or Bentley or Maybach payments. Remember when Justin's car got repoed when Diddy got locked up? So you can go buy this and buy that and learn exactly what your daddy taught you. So I would say consider the source. See, a blogger, right? Yeah, there is that thing about a click and a view. And you can tell the dumb ones that are lying, oh, Tisa worked for the FBI. Bitch, show me. Tisa, the paid informant. A paid informant that started off on reality TV talking about Portia and Simon, jumped to Kim and Kanye, went to Shankila Robinson and worked up baby, the FBI got some foresight, but I guess they saw this smile and this talent, and they said, watch her. Watch her when she got 700 viewers on a good night, right? And I'm not talking about lives. I'm talking about people that follow my channel. Watch her when she got 700 people following her. That girl got something. We need to tap into her because in 4 years, we're going to arrest Sean Diddy Combs and we're going to need her to take a black man down. Again, the people that are doing shit for clicks and views, it's very, very obvious who it is. I mean, the most clicks and views they get is putting me on their thumbnail. Let me give them a thumbnail because they love putting me on the thumbnails. There's your screenshot. You're welcome. You're welcome. I hope I feed your kids this week. The whole point of the process is, right? You can tell who's doing it for clicks and views, but most bloggers actually do have a point of view. We do have an opinion. We do a little bit of research. I would counter that anybody that is financially motivated by their existence into whether this man gets in and out, I would question them. I mean, as you guys can tell, I love a good Diddy view, but as you can tell, my man has been feeding me well. And baby, my financial motivation does not lie with this. But even if you take myself out of it, Justin, you are an unreliable narrator. Christian, you are an unreliable narrator. Quincy, you are an unreliable narrator. The twins, Chase, Baby Love, any woman that's dated Diddy, you are an unreliable narrator. You are. And that's fine because I can be an unreliable narrator. DJ Envy, you're an unreliable narrator. I understand that we look at bloggers, as you should, double check everything. Double check the stuff I'm saying. I'm telling you my opinion based off of my research. You can do your own research, just like Justin said his shit to DJ Envy. I called Cap and I did my research. It's very simple. But my whole point of the matter is, we can look at bloggers and be like, yo, y'all unreliable. Okay, fine. I'm not, right? I don't believe in unbiased when it's devils. I'm not going to sit there and be like, let's see if the devil's going to kill another virgin. No. Drive a stake through their heart. I don't care. No, but we should wait. Let's be unbiased. How do you know he was drinking that virgin blood because he needs to stay alive? I don't know. I just know we driving a stake through him, baby. This is not. No. And as we have seen from most mainstream media, there's no such thing as unbiased. The only thing is they try to trick you into like levels. The way CNN tries to act like it's unbiased. But is it really? Because y'all don't even report the both sides of the story. Unbiased just means we have the power and we're saying what the power wants us to say. That's what unbiased means. But again, when you get into this stuff, you guys are unreliable narrators. So everything they say, I'm going to double check because I have not seen them say anything true thus far. But that's just me, right? Now get this. Family or peer sources can say things more freely because they aren't bound by the same truth or ethics standards. Again, this is not to place bloggers above anyone because we're human. Y'all know when I believe something in my heart, I don't give a damn. I'm going to that's what I think. And when I change my mind, I'll be the first person to be like, I changed my mind. But you guys know that you're coming to me as a friend. You guys know I'm sharing what I found. I'm not the judge. I'm not definitive. I can't control. But we need to actually look at the family, friends, and media outlets that are very, very tight, not just with Diddy, but with that whole celebrity entertainment thing, because trust and believe, baby, they have interest. I'm not saying that that's causing them to do anything unethical, but they have interest in it. And it goes beyond a click and a view because they want more than a click and a view. They want a connection. Why? Because that connection equals more money in their paycheck. You see what I'm saying? Like a click and a view is easy. Y'all view me. I make ad dollars. This, that, and the third. But it's different if you saw me really trying to smooth, really trying to get out there, really trying to be up. Because now I need connections. Because I either want access to popularity, I want access to the money, I want access to more connections to get more money in my next contract. So it's more insidious. You can't see why they would lead you astray. But they could be leading everybody astray. Don't care if Diddy do 1 billion freak offs between now and the next May. As long as it's with nobody they love, and as long as their next contract negotiation can be tripled or doubled because they got the pats on the head for doing the good work for Diddy's PR team, which is one of the most powerful PR teams because they represent a bunch of different stars. If you go against Diddy, what about the other people they represent? Are they going to come on your show? Are they going to come on your show? Are they going to come on your show? Are they going to invite you to the premiere? Are they going to let you? And I'm not just talking about the Breakfast Clubs. This goes for anything that is outside of a one-person operation. You know? It's more insidious because they hide behind, I'm not doing this for a click and a view. No, you're doing this for your contract negotiation. You're doing this for power. You're doing this for power adjacent. You're doing this for access. And you don't care who gets hurt as long as you get your access. Anyway, let's get back. Also, they're saying this person, the Judah, the new family spokesperson, is a public relations damage control move. When the bad press hits, like the inmate caught drinking, families often rest to set the record straight, even if they don't have the full facts. They're emotionally invested and financially, but they're not necessarily informed, right? Because that's another thing. If they do mess up, they can always go back and be like, damn. They can always go back and be like, damn, I didn't know. Oh, I thought. Again, they're not under any bounds to tell the truth at all. And this can make the story sound like a denial without it being legally risky for actual dismiss. And I was like, okay, so like, what's the takeaway? And they're like, yo, this completely matters. Keep this and peep game. When statements move from lawyers to family, to unnamed sources, right? But even from lawyers to family, the lawyers, it usually means the lawyers don't want to touch it. The facts aren't verified or they're just not good. And the family is trying to control public perception while the legal team waits it out. Basically, and we got to admit this, if it was a clean factual situation, like he did not drink, we have test results showing that, lawyers could easily issue that short statement. The fact that they're being quiet leads a lot of people to believe and thinks it strongly suggests that there's uncertainty or the defense can't verify it. All right? Even prior, if every prior statement, keep this in mind, go, and I'm putting you down on PR 101, goes through attorneys when things are legally safe. Now that the issue could be embarrassing or disciplinary, it's being filtered through people who aren't obligated to tell the truth and can't be held accountable for misstatements. So, what's likely happening? They think that that there's an internal investigation or a disciplinary write-up happening right now in Fort Dix. The lawyers are waiting to see what's officially determined before commenting. Remember when I said that if that party started at 8 or 9 after the alcohol testing center is closed, by the time they test them again the next morning, it could be out of system. And they did say that inmates are very, very smart. They know how all of this stuff. Sorry, guys. I keep thinking my screen's going blank. They're very, very smart. The inmates know how all of this stuff actually works. And they're saying that they actually would hold a party after the testing bureau goes because they know they have a good 12 hours until it opens again to get it out of their system. Again, they think there's an internal investigation or disciplinary write-up happening at Fort Dix as we speak. The lawyers are waiting to see what's officially determined before commenting. Meanwhile, the family or PR team is trying to get ahead of the narrative to protect Diddy's reputation in the media. The I'm tested daily claim is a lie. It's a soundbite meant to imply innocence, but it is not in any way a factual, accurate, or true description of borough or prison protocol. And they said, Tisa, trust and believe if Diddy was not, if they were denying Diddy his rights or doing anything against protocol, Diddy's team would be the first people screaming from the rooftops, let that ninja go. Okay, right? So anyway, there is intake testing. There is, but that only happens one time when you're admitted into the RDAP program. Again, this is alcohol. Alcohol metabolizes about 0.015% blood alcohol concentration equals 1 standard drink per hour. So a standard drink is 5 ounces of wine, 12 ounces of beer, or 1.5 ounces of moonshine, right? that usually one drink gets out your body per hour. So Diddy literally could have had 8 drinks, slept it off, and still woke up ready to go. Again, what do we know? Diddy's team's liars. We know that there's a lot of trusted news outlets that, in my opinion, are leading people astray because they know people listen to them and they are friends with Diddy. They like Diddy. And it's like my dad always said, when someone don't like you, it don't matter what you do. They are never going to cut you a break. And when somebody likes you, it don't matter what, like, if somebody likes you, it don't matter what you did. They're still going to hold grace. Diddy was a powerful man. Diddy ran New York. Diddy ran media. Diddy is still aligned with some of the most powerful lawyers and some of the most powerful PR people out there. Mark Garrigos, Tinny Garrigos, Lauren, like whatever. All these people, they don't just represent Diddy. They represent big, major players. They rub shoulders. Half of them was at Christian or 70's birthday party. Okay? Keep in mind that when people are giving you information or people are trying to tell you, y'all already know the ish I'm on. I will never ride for an abuser. I don't care if you black, yellow, purple, polka dot, or whatever. Throw him in jail. And if there's another abuser, it's not just Diddy. All of them can go to jail. Y'all know what bullshit I'm on. Y'all know I've never hid that at all, right? And I've been pretty, but who cares? This isn't about me. My point is, I'm using myself as an example because I don't feel like actually whatever, right? Anyway, y'all know what bullshit I'm on. And y'all know where, but I am very clear in my positions. I'm very clear on why I'm doing it. I'm very clear. I'm very clear. I know some people want to make up stories because they can't fathom a world where Tisa was paid by the feds for security. I know you can't fathom a world where a man got money and a man that got money is not beating his girl, but actually he protects his girl and wants to stay safe. It's just correct. You don't live in a world where somebody's father or mother will want to see them safe. You don't live in a world where people have disposable funds to actually get security for their safety. And if they can't, the people around them that love them, be it a man, parents, whatever, they make sure they're safe. You don't live in a world. So in your mind, the only people that will protect a Black woman who is reporting against what the king of New York, when he's on trial, which was Diddy, they was treating like he was a queen of New York, is the feds. Because who else would care about a Black woman's safety? Who else would have that much money to hire security, right? I get the fact that, but y'all know it's pretty obvious. I feel like the more insidious thing are the people that act like, the whole point of the matter is the insidious thing to watch out for now that Diddy is trying to get this pardoned, now that Diddy is trying to do all this stuff, the most insidious thing to watch out for are the people that act like, I'm just being unbiased. I'm just telling you the truth. Or the people, they're lying. Pull it up. If I lied, pull some transcripts up. I know you got them. You were like this with Diddy's team and they still can't get you any views or interviews, but pull it up. Pull the transcripts up. For people like Envy, I talked to Justin and he said, but did you guys bother to check it? No, you're just saying it's like it's true. So now you're a mouthpiece for the Combs family. And the Combs family, we saw in court, they didn't appear to give a damn about any of the victims or any of the shit their dad was into. They just wanted their dad free because that is the moneymaker. That's who they love. That's who they want to see. And they've seen the whole world burn. As long as that man's there, they feel like all's right with it. Again, everybody has their own angle. And who am I to judge? I'm not God, nor do I depend to be. But as we move forward with Diddy trying to get a pardon and with Diddy in jail, pay attention to the news that you're getting and then see if you can fact check or verify it. Because unless somebody's lawyer is saying it or it's coming directly from a borough or prison report, yeah, whatever. whatever, we'll see. We'll see. And we'll see what happens in this investigation. I will say, listen, again, who said that? Viva VVV said, Diddy owes a lot of money. He might, but Diddy still has a lot of power, control, and influence. And there'd be a lot of people, specifically men, that you will be surprised that get on their knees and with the prostitute's heart and will do anything for any of that money and power, especially when they ain't got shit, right? And then there's a lot of people that actually are friends in Diddy. And again, we have to talk for a second about Diddy and that whole generation of men, black, white, purple, yellow. America is a highly misogynist place. And if you never spent time out of America, it is. It is. It is. Not saying that the rest of the world is like so, but America is very, very highly misogynistic. Men of that generation with Diddy, like what is that? Older Gen Z, older Gen X's? Like what do you call them? Older Gen X's? Early boomers? The Eric Adams, the Diddy, and I'm using Eric Adams like just for age, right? I'm not saying he's involved in any of this Diddy shit, but you know, everybody from that bad boy area that is now in their 50s, there's a lot of men that were raised off of the fact that if a woman was stupid enough to get drunk, then her body is a party favor. If a woman is stupid enough to let you spike her drink and wasn't watching, then that's her fault, and you got the right to take it. That if you got all the money, you can hit. Let's also forget domestic violence laws have come a long time in 20 years. You can hit. You can do anything to somebody unconscious because it's the woman's fault. It's like a certain group of men, and this isn't just black men, this is all men. Look at the rock stars. This shit is even worse than Diddy. A certain group of men with power and money that was raised in a certain age look at that as their right. So when we hear about what happened with Cassie and shit, we're like, oh, but for them, they're like, oh my God, grow up. Just like that one ball player that was in the jail with Diddy that just got released. And he is like, oh, please, that just looks like a normal argument. I bet you it does. But shout out to the people that are trying to keep, shout out to the people that are literally trying to keep the streets clean and clean it up. Because like, I think the Diddy trial, the one thing they're most mad about, and this especially goes to the broke ones that literally are fixated on me, right? Let me get them on. Right? Shout out to the broke ones that are fixated on me. I think that the one reason they're most mad about Diddy than anything is the fact that it sent a clear message. Your reign of terror is over. Your time is over. You thought that by getting all this money and power, and the sad thing is mostly the broke ones that didn't get money or power, that if you got that, your right as a man was to treat women as party favors, as punching bags. Your reign of terror is over. No one can consent to being a party favor. Unconscious. No one can consent to being a punching bag. And I don't care if the other person is like, yeah, baby, punch me in the face. I like it. Because you're going to stop punching her and come over to somebody I know and love and try to punch them. And that's when we got a problem. And that's the problem with Diddy. Again, I think the reason they're so mad is this sends a clear message that the reign of terror that they treated women and other people, it's over. It's over. And they're mad about that. But they're going to have to find new ways to institute modern day slavery. That's all I'm saying, right? Yeah. They're just going to. But anyway, you guys, listen, let me get out of here. I swear to God, I know I always say this. This is going to be a heavy upload day. If you guys have been like, Tisa hasn't been working, your girl is back. You have my pledge. I am going to get to work, okay? Woo! My 3-month vacation is over. I'm about to get to work, and let me get out of here and do. In the meantime, you guys, it is Christmas time. Please hit that. If you haven't subscribed, you guys don't know, but over 67% of you guys that watch my channel are not subscribed to my channel. If you ever want to do anything nice and free, that only takes a second. Please hit that like, subscribe button, definitely the subscribe button. Even if you unsubscribe on January 2nd, I don't care. It would just be the best Christmas gift ever. But that said, you guys stay blessed and know that the day of justice is upon us. All right. I will talk to us. Listen, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.